This episode is brought to you by Precision Fuel and Hydration, a proud supporter of the Inside Running podcast. It keeps us fueled on our long runs and races and has for a long time. Precision Fuel and Hydration is the answer. Their free online planner helps you nail your sodium and carb intake so you don't fade when it matters most. Are you training for your next big race and still guessing your nutrition? Well, Inside Running podcast listeners, 2026 is a year that we stop winging it. Visit precisionhydration.com, and while you're there, place your first order and get 15% off when you use the code INSIDE26. All right, this weekend's guest has a marathon PB of 2:17. He's a 63-minute half marathoner and a 29-minute 10K guy. He's just arrived in Sydney for next weekend's Sydney Marathon. A massive thank you to our friends at Precision Fuel and Hydration for hooking this interview up. Welcome to the Inside Running Podcast, Hugo Fry.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor.
Welcome to Australia. Welcome to Sydney.
Thank you. It's I've actually been twice before. And I've yet to come in your summer. I feel like I'm missing out quite considerably on that. But if this is what you call winter, it's not too bad.
Yeah, well, Sydney's a nice spot. I'm further down towards the bottom of Australia, and it's 12 degrees raining where I am. So Sydney's a good spot to be. And if you went further north, like Queensland, that would be beautiful as well. And not winter at all. Those guys have it really good throughout our winter.
Okay, I might have to try that.
Hey,
a couple of weeks here.
You do have an Australian passport, though.
I do, yeah. My mum and dad actually met out here. They lived in Melbourne, and my mum was here for about 10 years. So she's got citizenship, and I managed to secure it, which it's pretty lucky.
And this is the first time you've used it?
This is the first time I've actually used the passport. Every other time I've come, I've been on my British one. Because I've not been to Australia since I was about 11, 12 years ago. So, and I didn't actually get this until I was 19.
Does it matter which one you use? Like, does it make it easier when you get here if you got an Australian passport?
100 times easier.
Okay.
Yeah. You just don't have to have a visa. If you're British, you have to get a visa.
Yeah. Hey, on your arrival card, we're pretty old school how we do arrival cards in Australia. It's still like pen and paper. You see people scrambling when you're on the descent into Australia. But what do you put down as your occupation?
I guess now I feel like social media.
Content creator?
Yeah, I thought it has to be, I guess. Like, that's the only thing I can put down.
How fast you have to be to write athlete?
Oh, I'm never going to write that.
Okay.
Yeah, because I appreciate I'm not good enough to do. If I didn't have social media, I would still have a 9 to 5.
Okay, yeah. So you could realistically still be like a 209 guy, have a 9 to 5, but then could you write like athlete?
I think unless your paycheck, your survival is down to running or any sport, I think that's when the barrier changes.
Yeah, fair enough. Hey, what's
also
the plan?
the one thing I do have to say about your like immigration so I was in Doha. I stopped through Doha, and I always find I don't have enough water on planes. Don't know about you, but like I'm really struggling with hydration, and they never have enough. So my tactic nowadays is I get like 3 of these like liter bottles, fill them up to the top. I'm like, okay, I should be fine. I should survive. You're not allowed to bring water onto the plane.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah. It's over like 200 mil. I don't know. Like, yeah. I feel like those bins just before you go through are just full of like water bottles. Or people just tipping the water out. Like they have the big Stanley like drink bottles and they don't want to give those away. So it's just tipping water into a bin.
I was like, it's the first time I've ever been like where you're not allowed to buy water at the airport and then bring it onto the flight. It was literally like nothing. And I was like, this feels like they just want the airlines to make money here. What am I bringing that is dangerous? It's water.
Yeah, because you'd be able to buy it on the other side of that that
Yeah.
immigration bit. Yeah, yeah, and then take it on the plane. We're very secure over here, mate. Well, I've got a couple of Aussie questions for you a bit later on, just to make sure you're up to date with our slang and stuff, and hopefully you're going to cope all right while you're here. But what's the plan for Sydney Marathon?
It's a good question. I'm unsure what kind of marathon shape I'm in. So I did a full Ironman a month ago, and then did a T100, which is this like half Ironman 3 weeks ago. Um, so I'm kind of still recovering from those. But then I did a 5K last Friday, and got a PB. So I don't really, if I feel like I'm definitely fit at the moment, but I've not done any of those big like marathon workouts that give you confidence. And, kind of you can go into a marathon thinking, oh, yeah, I've got some good shape here. So, and I know it's a tricky course. I don't think I'm going to beat PB, but I'm going to, give it a good go. Hopefully something around the 220 mark.
Okay, okay, because you're over here with Asics, yeah, like sports shoes. Asics have sent you
Yeah.
over. Yeah. What bib are you starting with? Like you might like I started in wave A last year and did it as a bit of a progression run and ran like
Mm,
230 and it's a bit of time to make like if you're coming off that wave A, it's a
yeah.
bit to make up if you want to get up with the 220 guys.
Oh, is it?
It is. Well, yeah. Well, it doesn't help that it's fucking massively downhill for the first couple of Ks, and they all run 305K off the line, which is really probably a 325. But yeah, it's probably not a bad thing. But that was last year. But
I
yeah,
yeah, I this year at London, I started in like the championship pen, which is just behind the pros.
yep.
And so you're like right next to them, which is obviously super good. But I got carried away. The first like 500 meters, the Sarway was still in my eye line, and I was like, I just should not be running at this pace. Like looking down, seeing a 2 at the beginning of the KMs on on your pace, your chorus is like, oh no, you should really. This is not a good idea. So maybe starting a bit slower might probably be good for me.
Yeah, so I feel like Sydney goes like the elites and then maybe a high performance program and then wave A.
Okay.
And that high performance program was like maybe last year it was like the World Masters Championships as well. So like you might have had some 50 and 60-year-olds in there who had qualified with their age groups, but they were between say the 220 and the 230 kind of packs. But yeah, be prepared for a few quick first Ks.
Yeah, I think the elite women are pacing 220.
Yep.
So I think I'm gonna go through half at like 110, and then essentially just check how I feel, and if I can progress, amazing. If I can't, we suffer through the second half. I think
Yeah.
that's kind of the tactic.
Izzy Bad Doyle was on our show that went out today, actually, just like our weekly episode, and she's going to be one of the pacers for the lead women. So
Oh, awesome.
that will be her. She's a precision girl as well. So you guys be
Yeah.
able to talk about the carb mix and the gels and pull
Yeah.
out.
No bottles for me this time though. So
Yeah, yeah. Let me send an email off air because I reckon I can get your bib moved though. I reckon we can sort that out.
that would be
Yeah.
that would be
I'll pass on
pretty
some contact details to a friend of the
okay.
show who might have a bit of power there. Make your morning a bit easier in those first couple of Ks.
I feel like a lot of running now, like especially in the elite circles and like trying to get further up, is so much to do with like who you know.
Yeah.
And so I still don't know anyone, especially even in the UK circuit. I'm still very new to it. So yeah, it's always
Is that what happened with like your decision to change from Boston to London this year? Like, did you
I
get a last minute spot through someone you knew?
no,
Okay.
I had to I always apply for London no matter what, because I'm like, even if I don't run it seriously, it's an amazing event. So I always just have it in my back pocket just in case I want to do it. Because there's I don't personally I've done 4 of the 6. No, I've done
Eight now.
I've done 5 of the 8. Is it now?
Yeah, we become 7 last year.
Yeah, and then you got Cape Town now,
Yeah.
and so I've done New York, Chicago, Boston, Berlin, and London. And out of all those so far, I think New York's the loudest, but it's just like it's loud because everyone's got cowbells and like ringing them, and you can't really hear yourself think. Whereas like London, the atmosphere is just like, for me, I know it's a home run, but it's like super special no matter what you're doing. So I always liked doing it. And then I eventually decided to switch just because I put so much into the block. And I think when you travel, an international flight is what, 7 hours from London, settling back in. There's so much that can go, so much more that can go wrong. And if I have it all on my doorstep, I literally live in London. There was less barriers, but I think I've done London 4 times now, and I've never been able to get it right. And I don't know if that's my pacing, if the week before is so intense because it is your like home marathon, and like there's a lot more, especially if you're on social media now. There's so much going on the week before that I think I got to the start line this year and I was just completely fatigued. And I think, yeah, so next year I'm not really sure what my tactic will be. I don't know what I do want to do Boston again, but I'm not sure when I'll do it.
Yeah, I did Boston. You missed the tailwind. It was a good
My
day.
coach was furious at me
This
because
is Mario
Mario,
Froley. Yeah,
yeah,
he's been on the show. I looked it up before. We did episode 459, which come out today, and he was episode 68. So real
no
early days.
way,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I absolutely love him. He's such a great guy. But yeah, he was going to Boston as well, so he was in Boston, and he was like, he understood why I wanted to change. But after the result, he just messaged me and he said, "Hugo, don't look at the Boston results today." And I was like, "Oh, yeah,
yeah. Very nice weather-wise. Hey, talking about your 5K before, I'm looking at your PBs, and I think I don't think you knew PB for 5Ks on your power of 10. So that had 14:42, 29:37 for 10K, 63:30 for the half, 2:17 for the marathon. You've run your marathon like two 2:17s with a 31 and a 51.
hmm
What was the 5K the other day? And the 5K is clearly your worst PB. You agree?
yeah."
Yeah.
So I got 14:19.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay,
Now it
so
stepped
it's
up a bit. Yeah, now it's better.
now, you know what? Now my marathon's looking the slowest.
No, yeah, is it? I don't know. I reckon they're now looking. I reckon the 63:30's got to be the best one.
Oh, I still don't believe I did that. I honestly, like, I remember finishing going like I looked down at my watch and thinking that I don't know how I did that. Because yeah, 3 flats for a half marathon was it. It's the best race I've done it a couple of times. Barcelona half is the fastest half marathon in the world. I'm convinced about it. It's absolutely rapid. It's an absolute train. And I think every time I do it, I outperform, I think, my ability. So yeah, 63:30. It's hard to beat.
You must have split the 10K that day pretty close to your 10K PB.
Which
Like,
I'd set in Valencia 10K about a month before.
yeah, okay. Yeah, yeah. You guys have this you've just done the long flight to Australia, but like you guys can jump on these 90-minute flights, 2-hour flights and have access to these amazing races pretty regularly.
Yeah. There's so many amazing ones around Europe now. We're spoiled for choice, especially in the. It's. I do think it is a bit keen traveling quite far to do a 10K, but it's
Yeah.
definitely worth it. Like the Valencia 10K is amazing, and it's like I just remember I was. I think Mario had said to me he thought I was in like 30-30 shape, and so I set off, and you kind of just get dragged along for the first K. And then I looked down at my watch and I was, 2:55, I think. And I thought, I don't feel too bad. Let's just carry on. And then got to 5K. And I think I'd pretty much done my 5K PB. And I went, oh, okay, well, let's see how long it goes. And again, it's so flat. It from like second one to the end, you've got just a train of people and you're just completely sheltered. And I think at that pace, you're probably getting a bit of drafting benefit as well. So um, I've always been able to race far better than I train. I don't think, doing my 5K PB last week, I haven't done a rep at 250 anything for months because I've
Yeah.
just been doing kind of the longer form in terms of Ironman training. So I've not been doing anything anywhere near that pace. So again, like I don't know where it comes from, but I think in a racing environment when you're fully focused, you can always get so much more out of yourself.
Yeah. Does Mario give you like your swimming and bike training as well, or like did you kind of do that as a bit of a side quest and he does all the running stuff?
Yeah, so he can't. We go through kind of phases, if that makes it like so. Pre-London, he gives me everything um, from like 3 months out. So from January to April, it was all just like I did everything he set. He adds a bit of cross training in, but then for my London block, I was kind of averaging 180k a week. So there's not a huge amount more time you can kind of do to cross train,
Mm.
but I was probably doing 4 or 5 hours additional work.
You get in the
Um,
pool a bit, don't you? Swim
yeah, I
and
swim quite a lot.
elliptical, or what do you? What's the
I
main
do
cross training?
Stairmaster.
Oh
I love
yeah,
a
I've seen your
Stairmaster.
videos of that.
Yeah, I think it's great. I don't know. I just I like to get some work done on it as well, so I can kind of multitask.
Do you?
Um,
Yeah, but like I find when I was injured back end of last year, and then I got to concentrate too much on that thing. Like I can't be watching Netflix. Like you edit your videos and stuff on there,
Yeah,
don't you?
yeah. My housemate once watched it, and he was like, "It's actually miraculous how you don't fall
Yeah,
off."
it's a
Yeah,
tricky machine to be on.
yeah. I think I'm just there, like staring at my phone. I guess I clearly slightly coordinated. I don't know how I do it, but yeah. So Mario like puts in a bit of cross training, but then post London, he was just like, "Look, you want to do some triathlon stuff? I'll give you some sessions a week, and then everything else you can just like do whatever you want." And then we've not done anything really for Sydney. And then we're going to get into a block pretty much straight away to start doing a Valencia build. So that's where I'm. London, I wanted a lot more this year and kind of fell short. I went through halfway at 107.30. So we were kind of going for that 215 pace. But I just fell off on the day. Numerous factors. There's, so many excuses. I just didn't perform on the day. So hopefully Valencia, we can tick that 215 off, which would be super cool.
It's a place to do it. Plenty of
Yeah,
bodies around that kind of pace.
exactly.
You'd probably be with the lead women at that one too, 215 ish.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. And I think, everyone goes to Valencia to do a job. There's not a lot of razzmatazz around it. It's very much like you go there, you run fast, you leave. There's not a lot
Yeah.
of activations or it's like you go to do a job.
Yeah. It's not like I can't wait to experience the crowds when you run over this bridge or like just people yelling Vamos at you for 40K.
I did it last 2 years ago now, and I just remember doing it, and I'd literally just come off the back of New York, and just I went, where is it? No one's here. No,
Mm,
it's so like uniform. The only people you see are like coaches, like running alongside people, like doing bottles. It's like so much more like everyone's there to do the job, and kind of they don't
yeah.
care about the crowds.
Just go to work. And even like
Yeah,
at some stages, I did it in 2022 and like the crowds will come onto the road. Like there's no
yeah,
real like barriers there. It's just like, yeah, a couple of locals are on the road. It's a bit of Tour de France kind of vibes for a few Ks
yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
And then it'll just be thin. You won't see anyone for a couple of Ks.
Yeah. I mean, look, it is, I think, the fastest marathon, one of them in the world. I know Americans really rate CIM. Um, I did
Downhill
that
though.
I did it last year, and it's far more undulating than you'd think,
Okay.
which is fine. But I think one of the benefits of like Valencia is you just get in a flow and there's no thinking.
Mm,
Whereas like when it's slightly undulating, you have to kind of think about the up and downs and kind of yeah, I guess you can't necessarily like lock into a pace for the whole thing.
yeah. Hey, tell us about like Mario's. How would you describe his training philosophy? And then how would a week of training look, say you're 6 weeks out from a marathon? Give us a Monday through to Sunday.
I don't want to put words in Mario's mouth, but I think the thing that works for us is that he's very, very flexible. So he's not completely rigid on what he does. His I think the I our kind of normal week is Tuesdays, some sort of interval. I mean, there's no way to reinvent the wheel. It's like 10 by 1K.
Yeah. But faster than like threshold.
Exactly.
Yep.
Um, it's 10K of volume to start a block, and then we might go up to 15K by the end of it. So it will be like closer to like 8 by a mile by that point. And then some form of LT1 sort of kind of work on the Thursday, or maybe some steady work. And then the Saturday will be like a marathon session. His marathon sessions are a lot more different to what I used to do, because I was self-coached to make it up until about 8 months ago, when I started working with him. But I traditionally did the classic kind of, I don't know, 4x5Ks,
Mm.
3x10Ks. Those very much like you'll see on everyone's Stravas. But Mario is a bit more like, it will be 10K of work, 10K steady, 10K of work. So kind of mixing up. One of the interesting ones I did before London was 5x800 meters into 16K marathon pace, and then finishing it off with 2x800. So just
Okay.
like very like mixing up the different paces, and a lot quicker than marathon pace, and then into marathon pace, and then like some steady work in between that. So I guess working your body in different kind of zones.
Would those eights be like 5K, 10K kind of pace? Like,
10K
or yeah,
pace,
okay.
10
Which is
to half
yeah,
marathon.
which is not like I think sometimes people forget how hard that pace is to hit in training. Like when you
Yeah.
got to do it for 29 minutes on race day, that's and you're up and about. But fuck, I know I'm the same. Like hitting 10K, 1K reps is hard.
Yeah, I can't mostly do it. He
Yeah,
says like 10K half marathon pace. It's as much as I can give on the day. I think
yeah,
Mario is much more pragmatic in terms of, he looks if I'm working hard. And
mm,
if I am, he's happy. Like if I've given it all and all, like he doesn't necessarily look at it and go, "Oh, you were off your times today." He was like, "Oh, your heart rate was 185. You worked hard."
yeah.
So, um, and then it's very much, he's very, very communicative. He's super easy to get into contact with. He really loves the game. I see, a lot of people, because of the nature of social media, a lot of people who are in the running space on social media often offer coaching. And so like so many people have said, "Oh, Hugo, are you ever going to think of doing coaching?" And working with Mario and seeing how passionate he is about others' progress, and like how keen he is to help me, and like he's so on it. I just looked at that and went, I could never offer that to other people and be fully like invested in their journey. Like I love watching my mates smash it and PB, but I don't necessarily care how much, like how they get there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think sometimes people just like, especially on social media, they go, "Oh, it'd be so easy just to be a coach." And I know I can make X amount of money, but actually like seeing some coaches interact with athletes, and now looking at Mario and like how much he loves it, I think it's a different, it's not a different sport, but it's like you have to have the right reasons to do it.
It's a weird space too, the old like social media running coach online program, like very much unregulated. And I feel like there's this line between, and I know you got into running like during COVID, but like people that were doing it pre-COVID and post-COVID. Like I see, well, I own with a couple of other guys like an online running coaching business that started in 2017. But the stuff I see from people who have been running since like 2014, and like we've got Olympians, Australian record holders, like people who have been running for 20 years working for us. And I've kind of got a bit of a rule that you got to be in the sport for 15 or 20 years to be
100%.
like, to be able to do that job really, really well. And there's almost a
Yeah.
few like snake oil salesmen just in the industry at the moment. I'm just like, this guy knows fuck all about running, but he's got,
Well, it's because you can make so much money, and
I
it's
know,
like,
yeah.
so you can make absolutely crazy money if you get, I don't know, 50 to 100 people, and you charge $100 to $200, like,
Yeah.
or more. You can just think about that. So it's hugely tempting, but I always like think, I know nothing about running. I've been doing it for 6 years. I know niche.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. No, you know a bit. You can tell, like, you've got to a certain level though, and I think you've got to know enough about the sport to get down to 217.
yeah.
And
I
I've
mean,
heard you talk
yeah.
about like you'll talk about beetroot shots. Like you've self learned a lot of stuff.
Yeah, 100%. But I know there's so much more to learn, and
Mm.
like, especially, I think the biggest tool an athlete can have is like learning their body, and then being able to translate that to a coach. And so I'm still learning how to navigate my own body and how I can get the best out of myself. And so I'm nowhere near learning then how to then help someone else achieve what they want to do. Because what's worked for me, I'm very much I've always been good at, my body's always been able to handle mileage, but I know loads of people who can't handle mileage. And so I wouldn't know then necessarily how best to help them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. Hey, what's the plan? Like, do you want to be an elite runner? Like, this journey you're on must just be like shit. Just every year, opportunities come up. Like, I'm sure a lot of our listeners follow you online. Like, you've got is that 170,000 followers or something like that on Instagram? I do have it written somewhere in my notes, but it's pretty impressive, and it just must be growing and snowballing. But is it more like content, or is it more like I want to be as quick as I possibly can be?
It's a really hard space to navigate, because often when you're growing on social media, you get more opportunities, but those opportunities don't always align with becoming the best athlete possible. And so, like, I mean, for example, like, is Sydney the best timing for me in terms of my running right now? Probably not, but it's such an amazing opportunity. Who knows when I'm going to get something like this again? I've got to, you've sometimes got to take things like that. So, like, I think I'm still navigating that. I only started social media about 18 months ago. So it's been a pretty quick rise, and I'm still trying to learn how best to balance being the best possible athlete with the demands that come with a bigger platform on social media, and kind of learning to say no to opportunities that, yeah, might be financially quite lucrative or really cool opportunity, like experiences, because I want to progress my running. But in reality, I'm not doing the running to become an elite athlete, because I don't think you could control that necessarily. Everyone's getting quicker. The times are just becoming crazy. The only thing I can control is doing the best I can do possibly. And then, if I get better and, can maybe get an England vest one day, or, work towards that, or try and chip down to a below 2:10 marathon, which is kind of probably the end goal. But I don't think that makes me elite, or, so I don't think I ever want to say, oh, that's becoming an elite marathon runner or half marathon runner is the goal, because it's then not up to you. It's not in your hands, because everyone's getting quicker. You have no idea what other people are going to run in that year. So it's kind of just, it's seeing how far I can progress. And I never thought I'd even be in this space. I started running in COVID, so I didn't even know I had this potential in me until I was mid-20s.
No doubt you saw Moose's long run in the Yu Yangs on the weekend, another big one that he got out. And of course, it was powered by Precision Fuel and Hydration, a long-time supporter of the Inside Running podcast. Whether you're using a high-strength pH 1500 electrolyte to match a heavy sweat rate, or stacking the PF 30 caffeine gels for your next marathon, their range is science-based for performance. Precision Fuel and Hydration makes it simple with their 3 levers approach to calculate your carbs, sodium, and fluid needs, which you can do via their online planner. It's the fuel that's trusted by Australian marathon legends like Lisa Waitman and Izzy Bat Doyle. Visit precisionhydration.com and create your personalised fuel strategy today, and use the code INSIDE26 for 15% off your first order. Yeah, which is pretty special. I think we see more of that too. Like the pool of people now in the sport is like way bigger. So now we're starting to see pretty decent times coming from people who may have never been in the sport, but because we've got so many people now in it, it's like I'm like one of those old running nerds that were like I remember running. I might have ran 2:19 for a marathon and being like the 7th ranked person in Australia.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is great. And like, if I said how many people in Australia run 100-mile weeks, it would have been like 10 of us. But now I feel like there's thousands of people probably running minimum 130K weeks, and we're starting to
Yeah.
see like, oh, people can get down to 226 and then 222, and it's like, shit, we got like the pool's bigger, and we're kind of starting to untap some of this potential that may have went to other sports pre-COVID.
Yeah, I think what helps is there's a lot more money in it now, and it's a lot
Mm.
more lucrative, and it's a lot. I think there's so many more eyeballs that people think now, oh, you can really make a good career, and you don't even have to be the best of the best, which is really cool if you can leverage some of the tools like social media.
Do you think that is like a requirement? I asked Izzy this on our show this week as well. Like, she's jumped into the YouTube world. Like, if you're an elite athlete, do you have to have a podcast or a YouTube or like Instagram content pretty regularly?
I, I think you kind of do,
Mm.
mostly because it means that you can make just a lot more money and take away the pressure of having to win races to in order to be able to afford to carry on being an elite athlete. And if you take that pressure off, then it probably means you perform better because you're not so pressurized to perform. Because I've always found my best results have come from when I'm much more relaxed. And if you're on the start line, knowing that if you don't have to win in order to fund
Get
another
paid.
year of get paid. And I
Mm.
think that probably takes the pressure off so much more. And I know a lot of the guys now are looking doing it. Some of the best YouTube channels in the sport are from elites. Like I love Inga Britson's YouTube. I think what Tom Fern has done with his like stuff is phenomenal. And his production company, and Alex Yee, I love his stuff as well. There's a lot of Phil Sessman's doing loads of it now. I think the elites are doing far more, and I think sponsors often are giving them the tools to do it. So like paying for videographers. So it means like because I still like for me, for example, I do all my editing, I do all my filming myself. I don't think a lot of elites would want to do that, or
Mm.
they don't love. I love making content. That's why I started it. I find it really fun. I like making the videos, so I enjoy it. Whereas I know most of those guys don't want to do it, but if they have people to support them, that it opens so many more doors.
Yeah, that like expense is just a great investment in their
Yeah.
brand. Like paying a videographer to say, "Hey, we need, I don't know, a video every 2 weeks for the next 6 months. Like, let's throw some cash at it and see what it kind of returns." And just their value as an athlete and the way they get fans. Do you ever worry that like more fast runners are coming into the space and you're like, shit, like I used to get views because I was a 217 guy. Now all these 207 guys are coming into the space and making me look slow.
Oh no, like that's the best. I think there's no need to be like there's no competition because this like ocean is big enough for everyone.
Mm,
I think that's what some people misunderstand. It's like I'm not taking money away from someone else. There's like the ocean is so big now, and there's not enough fish in it in order, especially at the top end of the
yeah.
sport. And I think people are really getting into athletics now because of the rivalries of Josh Kerr, Inga Britson, Keely Hodgkinson. What they're doing online means people are so invested in it, and they're bringing more eyeballs, which means more brands want to put more money into the sport overall. So it's like I want people to do it. I think it's great, and also it makes me work harder because I've got to
Yeah.
retain those eyeballs. Like, why are you watching me? I'm a mid runner. You could go and watch another person's channel who's far quicker. So how am I making it slightly different? And how am I still trying to engage people?
Yeah, what you do really well, I haven't seen anyone else do this yet, is the way you insert like the video, like what are they, like meme videos, I guess?
Yeah,
Like
meme videos.
just
Yeah.
a scene from not so much The Simpsons, but like something from Seinfeld you put in there, or just like this 1 second little video to break things up that kind of, have you got a bank of those somewhere? Or like, is there a way you
Uh,
can like type in a chat GPT, like give me something of this theme? Like, how do you get them?
loads of people ask me this. I don't know. I must scroll the internet far too much.
Mm,
And like just I'll see something and go, oh, that's quite good. I could use it. Or and I just save them all, and I've got a folder, and I kind of just take them when I need them. And I think it just means that you can add maybe a bit of comic value without actually having to do a huge amount of work, or like you can just break up a video quite nicely. and also add reference points that I think a lot of people watch social media as a it's like as a comfort, and like it takes away from their stress of their daily life or something like that. And if
Mm.
I can provide a piece of light entertainment that pulls on references, especially from their like childhood or teenage years, it makes it feel more like comfortable, I think, and that's why I think people enjoy it.
Yeah, we've got a guy over here. We have like AFL football. I'm not sure
Mm.
if you should get well. A
I was just
couple of
about to say I've
days.
seen a couple of Swans
Maybe not go to a
games.
Sydney Swans game and just keep your head down around the Sydney cricket ground. There's like police investigations in like sexual assault allegations, which is far too heavy for an inside running podcast. But
I ran around the stadium today, and I was
oh, did you?
wondering there was like there were
You
a
was
lot of
cruising shit everywhere? Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
So I
Yeah.
think they're going to hand out the police are still investigating, and I think they're going to maybe fire some players today. I'm not sure, but there's an AFL guy that he puts like the Simpsons memes into all his kind of content, type media it's called, which is just a massive laugh. And you say it's like quick to add them in there. Is it though? Like you must spend a lot of time behind the scenes editing and like putting the work in.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy it though. I
Mm,
find it fun. I love. I spent. I think by the end, I spent about 8 years in like corporate jobs,
yeah.
and I'd lost all creativity. I'm not like I just had nothing left. I just spent loads of time on Excel, and my day was I'd run pre-work, go to work, spend 9 hours on Excel, essentially, do a couple of Teams calls, and then leave work, train again, eat about 4 or 5 times in that period, go to sleep, and just I woke up one day and went, I can't remember the last time I did anything that remotely involved that side of my brain. And not that it's particularly creative, but making those little videos every day like gave me a new kind of just activated my brain slightly differently, which I just found really just entertaining and fun for myself. And so that's kind of why I started it.
Yeah, so good. Hey, looking in your crystal ball though, like this industry changes and it changes quick. And I'm sure
Mhm.
like you're kind of talking about, Sydney Marathon, how good's this opportunity? Told you this 2-3 years ago, you would have been what the heck? Someone's going to fly me business class? Like you got the fake candles on there. I've done a
That
couple
was
of trips like that, and I'm just like, how the hell do I go back to economy after this? Um, where do you think the next like 2 to 5 years is going to go for this world you're in?
I think I think we're just starting in fully. I think the elite space is going to get a lot more into it. I think we're going to see that side of the sport in like just really adopt YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. I think it's just going to blow up on that end for sure. I think there's so many more people doing it, so much more high quality stuff. I think now you have to have both high quality stuff and entertainment in order to get engaged viewership. I think the triathletes have done it really well for a couple of years now. And I think running is slowly starting to like really get involved in the social media space. I think I think a lot more brands that aren't necessarily running related are getting investing in the communities because they see how popular it's becoming. And so I think I don't necessarily know. I don't think there's going to be a change of platform. I think Instagram and YouTube is always going to be there. But I think who you see a lot more is going to be, I think, probably the elites, which is, I think, a good thing. And I hope that it means that there's going to be more investment in like actual athletics and getting more like the next generation through. Because did you watch? How much of the Europeans did you watch?
Well, not a lot because we were big on com games. So I'd had my like week and a half of athletics, and then that was a nice time zone for us. And I feel
Yeah,
like it wasn't. We had like free to air TV, and you could just click on our app and just watch whatever you want. A couple of different feeds with Australian commentary, or we had like Hannah English on one of the other feeds as well. Whereas
yeah.
I don't even know if the Europeans were live on YouTube over here. So maybe a bit of fatigue going into the
Yeah,
Europeans.
but I thought both Europeans and um, Commonwealth, it not disappointing, but I'd have loved to see it a bit more full.
Oh yeah. You mean with athletes or crowds?
Crowds.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Um,
athletics I still think are fumbling. Like,
yeah,
look at the world. Yeah.
yeah,
I was just having this conversation with a guy yesterday. Like, we just announced our world half marathon team, which goes to the world road running champs just today. I haven't
in
even opened.
Copenhagen.
Yeah, but it
Yeah,
was this year was the first time it was self funded. So like a lot of our athletes are like, oh no, I don't want to go this year, and I'm like, every single half marathon sells out. Like half marathon is probably the most popular. Maybe you could argue like parkrun 5K is the most popular distance in the world. We have so many thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people run half marathon. This is meant to be like the cream of the crop half marathoners. And our good guys don't want to go because it's like I can't afford the $6,000 fee to go over there. And
that's
it's so then
crazy.
it's going to have no connection with this massive amount of people who run half marathons and love the half marathon. And it's just like, yeah, I see the stadiums and I see this disconnect between like track and I've always argued that maybe we should just cut the field out, like just that can don't cut it out fully, but it's like I'm a running fan. I don't really want to tune into a Diamond League 1,500 meters and see a cutaway of the high jump. Like I respect what they do, like, but it's
Yeah,
not. I'm like better off putting on like some clay shooting or some lawn bowling or whatever. It's like a foreign sport to me. I don't know the people. I don't know the specifics. There's no way I can relate to that at all because I'm like a 58 kilo like distance runner. Like they're so flexible. So it's like here's a 5 minutes where you have my attention, and then you show me a complete different sport for 30 seconds, and then you throw back to me. So I
the
think
only
with
one
yeah,
I really enjoy is pole vault, because that Duplantis
yeah,
is like, he's just crazy good. Like
yeah,
that's
yeah,
so cool to watch.
yeah.
But I don't know how. I'm sure I'm giving it too much. I'm sure there's loads of people who have fantastic suggestions, but for me, like the first thing my dad took me to, it was like a football game, and UK, it's like such a, it's like ingrained in our society, and like kids get taken by their families. It's like, how do we do that for athletics? And like, is it maybe the tickets were way too expensive or the concessions were way too expensive? How do we make sure that it's family friendly? We get those seats, if we have to
Mm,
give tickets away, so that the next generation grew up going to watch like Ingebrigtsen, and like watching that amazing 5,000 meter race, or like the 10,000 meters, even and how do we then encourage like someone like Josh Kerr to make sure he's at the Europeans, to do those races, to build those stories, to make sure that that's where the funding is? Because and the same with the half marathon races, like how do we make sure that the athletic boards have enough money to send the best people there, so we can continue to grow the sport? Because if that's not, I mean, in the UK, the main controversy around the Commonwealth Games was it was on TNT Sport, which meant it was behind a paywall.
yeah,
So you
crazy.
couldn't watch it. And it's like, and then the Europeans, on the other hand, was on BBC. And I sat down every night and watched 3 hours of it because it was really entertaining. And it's like, how do we, yeah, I guess there's just so many different points you can,
Yeah,
I'm not
that
sure where you
blows my
start.
mind that it was behind a paywall. Like, I got a couple of mates over there, and they're just like, "Yeah, it's not that big here because we can't like tune in and watch it."
Yeah.
Like we deliver at the Com Games as well. Like we sent our like pretty much our Olympic team. We smashed every event. Like it was front page of the newspapers over here. I also work at a school a couple of days a week. Like all the teachers are talking about it, the parents, the kids. Like it really hits home because of all those reasons you kind of mentioned.
Yeah. And so it's how do we really build that up? Because I think, yeah, especially like athletics is behind the marathon. Like marathons now are just crazy. Like
Mm,
I mean, they sell out within seconds. They're expensive. Like they are, like Valencia, for example, is 180 euros. And
yeah,
yet they're
okay.
selling what, 30,000 tickets easily. So there's appetite and people want it. How do we make sure we connect the dots?
Yeah. I do have this question for everyone I interview. If you were like Seb Coe for the day, you
Hmm.
get to make one like change, or you can go in and make a couple of changes. Whatever change you make gets like action for the next like 3 or 4 years. They're not just going to like delete your change the next day when Seb Coe's back. Like, what would you do if you're in charge of the sport? Pressure. I should have told you before we started that this
Yeah,
one was coming.
shit.
Sorry.
What would I do?
Rory
Um,
Linklater was on last week, and he said the first thing he'd do is fire Seb Coe. Like as a bit of a joke. He like, so first thing I'm doing is getting rid of that guy.
First thing I do is, I try and like get investors, make events for like a couple of years completely free.
Mm.
And if you're like definitely under, maybe it's like under 30, you go in for free. And then over 30, you get like £10 tickets or something like that. Try and fund that. I think that's how you get more people into the stands. And then I think what would be, I guess they did try and do it with Sprint. Don't know if you watched any of that.
Yeah,
Similar to
I
Drive to
started.
Survive.
Yeah.
I think Drive to Survive did so much. F1 is a boring sport. I don't know how anyone watches that. I think it's like watching paint dry. But I
Drive
like
to
that
Survive's
show.
good though.
Drive to Survive is good because it builds stories, and
Mm.
at the end of the day, like people like football players because you know, they're invested in their team, and there's no like team spirit, I guess, in athletics. So what you have to do is focus on the people, similar to F1. I guess there's a bit of team camaraderie there, but it's all about individuals, and they're wearing a helmet. You don't even know who they are, so they've managed to
Yeah.
break down all these barriers, and now F1 is booming. So like, how do we create something similar to that in athletics, or yeah, in running in general?
F1's like, this is the schedule. This is when you see them. Like, I feel like our elites, it's still like a Josh Kerr, for example. It's like, yeah, it
Yeah,
might pop up here, won't pop up there, goes away for 6 months. Like, you know what your favorite football teams like over there? It's like, here's their next 20 weeks of where they're playing kind of
that's a
thing.
good point, actually. Maybe it's also forcing people to turn up to specific things, and if they're injured, they're obviously injured. You don't have to, you can't force anyone to run, but maybe it's like making sure that on the calendar there is minimum, like you have to do these 4 events a year where everyone gets there, and you can then means you can build. Though, like, did you watch the highlights for the 800 women's?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Unbelievable, like
Yeah.
crazy. Like that's how I think if you saw that 4 times a year, that's like a derby in a football game. It's a great race, and I think it brings out the best in the athletes as well.
And they're all going to race at Zurich as well. Like, so then, yeah, that come through yesterday. I'm like, okay, here we go. So, like, let's say we've got unlimited budget. 2028 Olympics, we make Cam Myers, Ingebrigtsen, Josh Kerr. We could maybe throw in Nagoose as well. You have to run these 5 diamond leagues going into the Olympics.
Mm,
We're going to follow you for the 6 months leading in, and then we're going to do like that. We could be on a winner there, Hugo.
yeah, that would be
You need a
also.
shitload of money, but
Yeah,
imagine that Netflix.
yeah. But also, I think so many people would absolutely love that. I think middle distance running at the moment is booming.
Mm.
Yeah,
And
that's the.
personalities too.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
Paul Walker as the defending champ. Yeah, probably can't have 2 from America. Anyway, you need the personalities.
yeah.
Cam Myers down here would do a good job. Follow him around Canberra. Yeah, this could be good. This could be good.
Mm.
Hey, I also ask everyone I interview on the show, what are you reading at the moment? Like, you got a book on the bedside table? Do you read?
You know what? I'm a big fan of Audible.
Okay. You're not like
Um,
sponsored by them or something that you got to say
no, no,
that?
no. I
Okay.
can't. I'm super dyslexic,
Because
so
Audible's been getting into the running space a lot over here.
as a.
Yeah, sponsoring a lot of like running content.
Ah, interesting. I
Yeah.
should. There we go. I should
You
reach
might be
out.
sponsored by them next week.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't. So I haven't read a book in years.
Yeah.
Embarrassing to admit, but I love Audible. There's a couple of ones I've been listening to. I got recommended basically when I did CIM in December with Precision Fuel because they're the main sponsors of it. Um, and they at the time they have a partnership with a restaurant called 11 Madison Gardens, which is a 3 Michelin star restaurant in New York.
Okay.
It's a very niche collaboration, but basically
Yeah.
they have a run club, and they messaged Precision going, "We love your stuff. Like, would you ever like help us with our run club?" And Andy, the CEO of Precision, was like, "Yeah, of course we would. That's such a cool thing." And one of the reasons he knew who they were was because he read this book called Unreasonable Hospitality.
Okay.
And it's based on the founder of this 3 Michelin star restaurant. And basically, it's his journey of how he became 3 Michelin star. And just when I was in CIM, a couple of their chefs and staff members were running it. So we like hung out with them and experiencing like listening to them talk about like their passion for cooking and their like passion for hospitality was honestly eye opening. Like talking to chefs who had 3 Michelin stars. I've never had so much respect for any profession. And so I've read this book now, which Andy recommended, called Unreasonable Hospitality, and it's really fascinating. It's basically, how do you go the extra mile in kind of every conversation you have, or every single kind of interaction, or any piece of kind of hospitality. And it's a really, really good read. And it's
Ah,
basically how you kind of go to the next level of, yeah, hospitality. So a bit of a niche one, but I
good
highly recommend.
recommendation.
Yeah,
Hey, I've got. Oh, didn't you just do a camp with them? Did you do like a, um,
I did heat
yeah,
training.
heat training?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I saw
yeah,
some of that stuff on a treadmill. Get some good data out of it.
yeah. I'm a really, really salty, sweaty, not sweaty, a very, very salty, heavy sweater. So I lose around 3 liters an hour
Okay.
at peak, my peak sweat rate, and then my sweat, like my sodium level per liter is 1.5 or 1,500 milligrams of salt. So basically, heat is like my kryptonite, because if it gets even slightly hot, I just my fueling has to be so much better in terms of like salt replenishment, and hydration.
So that gives you, because London was hot this year.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
and the London before was also hot, and Berlin was super hot last
Mm.
year as well. So the last three races I've done kind of crumbled a little bit. So it explains a lot, and it explains what I need to improve.
So then what's your plan on like how many, I'm sure they've dialed all this in, like how many carbs and stuff do you do during a marathon? What's your kind of nutrition plan?
Yeah, so I'm pretty good now. So I usually do 100 grams an hour.
Yep.
So I'm on the top end. In my Ironman, I did 110 on the bike, and then a bit less on the run, so maybe about 90. Just because by that point you're a bit fried. But yeah, I think for Sydney I'll probably go 90, three
Yeah.
gels an hour, got a couple of caffeine thrown in, and then I'll be doing salt tabs.
Yep.
So probably, I think, Lindsay, the scientist I work with there, he suggested I need 11 salt tabs throughout Sydney Marathon. Am I going to do that? If he's listening, apologies. I'm probably not, because like that's logistically a lot of thinking, and I don't know if I can do that. But I'll try and get a couple in.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And then what are your plans for like you in Sydney this whole time up until the race?
Yeah, I've got nothing. So
They,
just
was there a reason they flew you in so early, like just to get used to
no.
it?
I asked to.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah, I just thought, why not?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know how anyone flies in 5 days before. Not even
Yeah.
5 days, like a couple of days. But I had a mate
In,
who did it last year,
in
who
economy
flew
too.
in 3 days before.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
People will do it. People
I feel
will.
I
Yep.
feel terrible still. I feel absolutely horrible. I don't know how I wouldn't be able to run a marathon in 2 days
Yeah.
probably.
I try to do a week. Like that's been my first 3 or 4 days are kind of a write off, and then you're just starting to feel good, but you're still probably not at 100%. Like it's, yeah, as you've
So
just
yeah,
experienced, it's a fair way.
so I'm just enjoying Sydney and just experiencing something a bit different, and yeah.
You going to go to like any like run? Like you got anyone hooked you up with any groups up there?
Yeah, so I'm doing 8 by a mile tomorrow with a group, which
Which
should be
group?
good fun. No, it's just do you know Fractal, the
Yeah,
cat
yeah.
man?
Hat company.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So they've got a couple of guys who they're bringing along. So we're just doing a session around Centennial Park.
Oh, we should get you to. There's a big group up there called Run Crew. Ben St.
Okay.
Lawrence is one of the owners. He also
Yeah.
works for Sydney Marathon in the. He's one of the elite athlete coordinators. Used to be our 10K record holder.
Oh wow.
Yeah, absolute legend. I'll flick you his details. He'll be great to catch up with. And yeah,
Yeah.
Tommy DeCano's another guy. He was a oh shit, I should get this right. Maybe a 211, 212 guy. Full-time podiatrist up there. He's doing Sydney as well. So
Oh, awesome.
he'll be worth jumping into workout with. I got some questions. I got some sayings, some Aussie slang to test you on, just to make sure
Nice.
that you're okay before
Yeah.
you start having too many
I
Aussie
don't want to embarrass
interactions.
myself.
I'll throw these words at you. You tell me if you know what they mean. Like
Okay.
bloody oath. Have you heard that yet? Someone says, yeah, bloody oath, Hugo. Do
No, not heard that one.
you want to go for beers after the race? Bloody oath. We're going for beers after the race.
Okay. So like Is it?
Absolutely,
Absolutely.
definitely,
Bloody oath.
no
Okay.
doubt at all. So yeah, get ready for a couple of bloody
The issue
oaths.
is, okay, this is, but I've only met one Australian here so far
Mm,
in 36 hours because I'm on Bondi,
yeah.
and it was Ned Brockman around in
Oh, was it?
Centennial Park today. Yeah, I bumped
Yeah,
into him, and I was like, you're the first Australian I've actually spoken to.
yeah.
There's no one. Everyone here is British, and I was like, oh, this is crazy.
A lot of backpackers around that area. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm surprised Ned didn't throw out a bit of a bloody oath. He's pretty Aussie. Like he's pretty
yeah,
ocker.
yeah.
Pretty
They,
calm.
they couple of you guys love couple of swear words, which in the UK aren't so
Yeah.
acceptable.
One that starts with C.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I like using it. I think it's a very expressive word.
Well, it
But
depends how it's delivered. I was
yeah,
going to put that on my list, but I'm like, yeah, probably. We got kids that listen to this show, and as I said, I work in a school a couple of days a week. Probably flirt with danger a bit, just in case that one gets out. But yeah, if someone calls you that word in a nice tone, especially
oh, it's tonal. It's
if they put
tonal,
mad in
100%.
front of it, that's like one of the,
Yeah,
if they call you a mad, see, that's one of the
yeah.
like best compliments you can get while you're here. What about rooted?
Rooted.
Yeah, rooted.
You're gonna have to give a bit more context for me here.
I jumped in a workout with Tommy DeCano after you recommended it, and now I'm absolutely rooted.
Is it a bit like? Oh, I was gonna say a bit like fucked, but
Pretty much, like you're
yeah,
cooked,
you're
like you're
cooked. Yeah,
exhausted, like completely stuffed. Yeah, yeah,
you're
yeah.
rooted. Okay, nice.
It does have
Okay,
another context, but we won't go to that one as well. But yeah,
I'll have to Google that later
if
then.
it's in exhaustion, like post workout, that's how that goes. What about have a crack?
Oh, I just have a go.
Have a go. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we use that one as well.
okay, I wasn't sure
Yeah.
with you being here for Sydney if it was like a bit of an influencer trip or like you were actually going to have a crack, but it
Oh,
sounds like
no,
having a
by the
crack.
way, my number one rule in life, right? Even if I'm not in shape, if I get invited to something, no matter what, I'm not having a jolly. You always give it a go. I refuse to. I hate this when you're like, oh, I just go for the vibes and shit. No, I'm sorry. Someone sent you out here. The least you can do for me is just die on that. Like, just absolutely give it your all. You're gonna, no matter what. My time might be terrible. I might get a 2:30. I might just absolutely die. But you know what? I'm gonna give it my all. I'm not here to like fuck spiders. That's the
Okay,
Australian one.
that's a
I don't.
shame. Yeah.
I don't believe in just like having a nice jaunt around a marathon course. ASICs have been very kind enough to send me here. I'm going to at least give it my 130%.
What about because my co-host, he's up there like working. We've got a couple of like live podcasts to do up there, and he's a 214 guy, but he's just starting to get back in shape, and he
Hmm.
has an entry,
Yeah.
and he's like, oh, I think I'll just jog around at 4 minute K pace. Is that acceptable? Because he's kind of like ASICs haven't sent him up there. He's up there for like other reasons. Can he enjoy the
Uh,
vibes of Sydney, or
if
should he send it?
if you got a place and you've got the place. You do whatever you like with it. You can do, but for me, I've always been like, if someone's like got you a place or you've paid for or like you've been paid to do something, race hard
Okay.
because so many people would die for that place, and like so many people would
Mm.
want to be there for in that place for you, so like would replace you any day. So make sure you give it your all. That's just like
Okay.
I'm sure many people will disagree, but I just think
Good
like,
theory.
yeah,
I like it. What about Stubby? Heard of Stubbies?
stubbies.
Stubbies. Seem like have a couple of Stubbies after the race.
Oh, beers?
Bottle of beers. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Is
Yep,
it? Okay,
yep,
interesting.
yep,
Nice.
yep. Cobber. If someone calls you Cobber,
I've heard it. I've heard that one,
yeah,
but I don't know what it means.
good run Cobber, stuff like that. If it's meant to be like mate friendly, like it's not too bad. If someone says, "Here you go, Cobber, here's your coffee," like it's okay. But if anyone tries to call you a champ over here, that's nah. Don't accept champ or champion.
Really?
Yeah, a bit
Okay.
like downplaying. Yeah,
Ah, interesting.
good one,
Okay.
champ. Like yeah, you don't want to be called a champ.
Ah, it's a bit patronizing.
But yeah, but Cobber's okay,
Okay.
especially if it's from
Okay.
an older gentleman. And then tradie. Do you know what a tradie is?
It's like someone who's like an electrician or something.
Yeah,
Like,
tradesman.
yeah,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
tradesman. Yeah,
The
yeah, yeah.
tradies can
Cool.
give you a bit of a hard time if you're running early in the morning and you're on the side
Yeah.
of the road and the tradies are off to work and they just get on the horn. Just watch out for the
Okay.
tradies in Sydney around Centennial Park. I'm not sure how many
Nice.
tradies are hooking around there, but
I don't think there's that many,
I
but
live in regional Australia and you've got to watch out for the tradies on the road at about 5 to 7 every morning.
okay, interesting. Yeah, I've actually got a friend who works on the mines in
Oh, yeah.
Perth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, that is a. I actually saw her and her boyfriend the other day, and I was like, that is a lifestyle. That's
Mm,
crazy. But you just don't get kind of, maybe I guess you do a bit in Scotland. We've got like offshore oil rigs, but like it seems like a culture here. But like that's crazy. That is
yeah.
crazy.
They fly in and fly out kind of thing. 10 days
Yeah,
on, 10 days off, make heaps of money. Then they come
yeah.
back and buy jet skis and cars and stuff like that. And then, yeah, go make another 10 days worth of good cash. Hugo, it's been fun. Good luck for the Sydney marathon.
Thank you very
I'm
much. It's
sure
been
there's going
awesome.
to be heaps of Aussie fans of yours out there. This marathon like wasn't really like good vibes, like major kind of vibes until last year, and it really stepped up. Like it's
Mm.
not going to be no Boston or New York, but we'll hopefully have a crack out there for you, and
Better
hopefully the
views
crowd
though.
brings the vibes. Oh, amazing views!
Yeah.
We take it for granted. You studied the course much?
I don't like to
Oh,
because I don't see the point in like putting myself through that. I know it's going to suck. I know it's got 315 meters of elevation, which is about 70 more than New York, and New York was the hardest marathon I've ever done. So, I'm just going to roll the dice, give it a good go, and hope for the best.
okay. I've ran it a couple of times, and like my advice would be like the first 15K, it's like hard to lock into much of a rhythm. Like it's
Yeah.
up, it's down, it's a bit twisty and turny. And then you get this massive, like long stretch of like rhythm. And then you get into the park and then some nice downhill and one bit of an uphill towards the end. But yeah, have fun out there.
Yeah.
Be good.
I'm going to give it a crack. Give it a
Give it
good
a
crack.
crack. Give it a real
Yeah.
crack. Have a couple of stubbies afterwards. Hopefully you're really rooted crossing the line there when you see the Opera House.
That perfect. That is exactly what I'm going to do.
Thanks, Hugo. I'm going to hit stop now.
Thank you so much.
Thanks to Precision Fuel and Hydration for sponsoring this episode. Precision Fuel and Hydration is the answer to fuel your next marathon. Their online planner is free and it helps you nail your sodium and carb intake so you don't fade when it matters most. Visit precisionhydration.com and while you're there, place your first order and get 15% off when you use the code INSIDE26.
Doesn't matter if it don't come back.